Good morning. Happy Monday and welcome to Screen Junkies Universe. It's Oscars Monday. We're going to talk about all of the things from last night's Academy Awards. Joining me today is Danielle Radford.
Hi, I'm in the Dan chair.
In the Dan for Dan.
Dan for Dan.
Roxy Striar.
I'm in the Spencer chair.
You're in the Spencer chair, which means you will be coming in equipped with the quips. Mr. Billy Business.
What's going on? I'm right snug in the friend zone, just like high school. I love this. Yes.
Tucked right into that friend zone. Let's talk about the Oscars. Listen, if you guys are wondering where Dan is and Spencer is and Joe are, they were up late working on the Grouchies, which you can check out right now after this show on Screen Junkies Main. So they're too tired. They're having a little lie-in this morning, as they say in the Britannica.
Ooh, just sweeping.
That's an encyclopedia, I'm aware. Let's talk about
I was like, I know I'm not geography proficient, but where on the map is this coming
Where
from?
is this?
And actually, it's a traveling country. It goes door to door to see if you're interested in buying any. Nope.
Let's talk about the Oscars. So I will confess that nothing surprised me last night.
No.
Every single category was what we had predicted. Let's run through some of the top ones real quick, and then we'll get reactions from everyone. Best Picture went to The Shape of Water. Director Guillermo del Toro for The Shape of Water. Actor Gary Oldman for Darkest Hour. Actress Frances McDormand for 3 Billboards. Supporting actor Sam Rockwell for 3 Billboards. Supporting actress Allison Janney for I, Tonya. Original screenplay Get Out. Yes! Somebody showed her feelings. Adapted screenplay Call Me By Your Name. Foreign language, A Fantastic Woman, animated, Coco, and so on. Snubs. Let's talk about it. There was no love for the Lady Bird. There was no love for Mudbound. There was no love for The Post. There was no love for Baby Driver, War for the Planet of the Apes, or Phantom Thread. Danielle.
Phantom Thread got a little love, but
a
minuscule.
It got the love it deserved. It got the love it deserved.
Like, I definitely thought that at least for sound, we would get some Baby Driver, right?
That's what I thought
like
too.
Sound
Sound editing, I thought.
For sound editing,
sure.
for sure, like a lock. So that was really surprising.
Yeah.
I get it, though. Dunkirk is a movie that was designed to make me anxious through sound. So
And it worked.
It worked.
I will say that there are a lot of people that feel like Dunkirk was really snubbed. So it did win for sound editing and sound mixing, as you mentioned. But I think a lot of people, and for film editing, but I think a lot of people were thinking that this should have been a bigger player in the larger prizes this year. That
Yes.
Nolan really should have been up there. That Dunkirk should have had a stronger play.
I just the
Chance of
problem.
winning.
One of the major problems with Dunkirk. There's 2 problems. One of them is if you are the kind of person who you really need to have a movie where you identify with and love the characters. That's not what this movie is. This movie is about placing you in that event and you feeling like you're in that event. And secondly, because that's what that is, if you're watching it on a screener, you're not getting the experience of Dunkirk. And most folks are watching it on screeners.
I agree.
And this is a movie that
point.
demands that you see it in the theater.
I agree. That was the one thing Dan and I, when we reviewed the movie, that was the point that we emphasized over and over again. If you're going to see Dunkirk, you have to see it in the theater. And a lot of people think that back in the day, that seeing Saving Private Ryan on screeners actually hurt its chances at the Academy Awards as well.
But what's weird about this is when Dunkirk came out, because if you are on top of your stuff whatsoever, then you didn't see this on a screener because it had been months and months. So I feel like most people I know had seen this film by the time screeners were going around. It's not like this was one of those end-of-the-year movies like Florida Project where you literally couldn't even find it if you didn't have it on a screener.
But you have to remember that a lot of the Academy voters are
Busy.
Elderly. They're just elderly. Like
But that's who goes to see Dunkirk, like my grandfather
But I'm
went to see
talking
Dunkirk.
like my wife's grandfather is in the Academy and he's in his 90s. He's not going to see these movies unless they are brought to him. I'm guessing he's not the only one. A lot of these Academy members are just, they're not going to go out and see a theater. I would not take a 90-year-old to go see Dunkirk in an IMAX theater. That would kill them.
I literally
They'd be
did
dead.
that. That's exactly what I did.
Well,
Does that say something bad about me?
No,
I took a 92-year-old man to an IMAX theater to see Dunkirk. Oh my god!
Oh my god, you're gonna kill him! It's too much. It was too much
If
for
World War
me.
II didn't kill him, then
If actual Dunkirk didn't kill him, then
Then he could
he's
survive
watching
it.
it. He's like, I was there. I'm like, Papa, you were not there. He's like, yeah, so close enough. I was over there.
I was over there somewhere. You like to live dangerously, and that's what I like about you, Roxy.
you so
But
much.
that movie does, you're right, that is 100% about the theatrical experience. That's what Nolan does so well, is that he creates an experience that does immerse you without the use of 3D, obviously. And that's what Dunkirk was. If you're watching it at home, I don't think it would have the same impact. Another film that we're not talked about here yet is Blade Runner. Now, Roger Deakins finally won his Academy Award for cinematography, which I was delighted to see. I was so happy to see Rachel Morrison up there. That was history making. But Deakins needed that award. Come on, you guys. Deakins had that coming for
He was
so
the Lucci
freaking long.
of the Oscars.
I was a little bummed he didn't make a
Susan
Lucci
Lucci
joke.
joke. I know.
But he was terribly dignified, and it was delightful to see. But that's another movie that people felt, oh wow, that was really missing from the larger conversation. Blade Runner. What's your thoughts on that?
Blade Runner suffers from being a genre film, and it just does.
Although a genre film swept in The Shape of Water.
Which is true, but I feel
Different
like
genre.
it's a different kind of like. If the Academy goes with genre, they're always going to go more to fantasy than the kind of futuristic sci-fi.
Why
Yeah,
do people
I'm-
like to hate sci-fi?
I don't know. I
Shape
think
of
it's dumb.
Water is exactly what the Academy
Yes.
loves, which is a love letter to itself, which is what I get. It was the 90th anniversary of the Oscars, but this was like Hollywood, sucking its own teat for 3 hours.
Yes.
That's what Shape of Water is. It's a love letter to days gone by of Hollywood, which, as I just pointed out, I think a majority of the Academy members are. So I think that's why Shape of Water is a little bit different than a Blade Runner 2049, which if you don't know it or haven't seen it, it could just be like, oh, that's like that Star Wars thing,
Yeah, I think that you're right, Billy, because Shape of Water feels like this year we had movies up there that I'll confess I would have liked to see more anything go to Lady Bird.
Me too.
Right.
So badly.
And I was really happy to see Jordan Peele win that Oscar for screenplay for Get Out. That was, again, I say it once and I'll say it again, that was my favorite movie. When I saw it last year, the very first time I saw Get Out, which was in March, I think is when it came out. So, no, February. So it's kind of amazing that it's lasted this long. February or March. Anyway, I said I feel like that's my favorite movie this year, and I don't think it's going to get altered, and it didn't. At least he won something, but Lady Bird got nothing.
Yeah, and I also Blade Runner suffers from being a sequel.
Yeah.
That's true. Greta Gerwig was so graceful.
I agree.
Yeah.
If you saw her reaction shots or everything, she just looked so happy for everybody
Yeah,
the
she
whole
really-
time,
and it
but
looked
genuinely.
genuine.
And I think the fact that Lady Bird did not do as well actually bodes well for us and her career in the future, because she's hungrier now.
Yeah, I agree.
And if this had done amazingly and swept, then it's kind of like, what does she have to prove anymore? What does she have to look forward to? And I think it did deserve to, because I love Lady Bird. It was my top 2 films of the
Me
year.
too.
I loved that movie. But I think the fact that she's there, the fact that she's nominated, she's honestly so humble and so grateful. She's like, okay, and now let's make another movie.
If you guys haven't seen the little GIF of her in her response to Jordan Peele, she just is saying, I love you, and you can feel how genuine that is. Same thing when Guillermo won. Another one is Call Me By Your Name, that was a favorite this year, and it does, to your point, Billy, feel to me somewhat like, in a way, Shape of Water is the movie that the Academy could agree on, right? Because there were all of these different films that had very, very arduous and strenuous supporters, but it felt like Shape of Water was the one that they were like, okay, we can agree on this one. It's a movie about loving Hollywood. We love that. It is a genre film, so we're not doing kind of like The Post, which would have been the obvious thing a couple of years ago. So it is, in a way, like the consensus movie. What is your take?
I felt bad.
And I really love Shape of Water, by the way.
I love Shape of Water too, but we're talking about that compared to Call Me By Your Name, I preferred Call Me By Your Name. That's a complete preference thing. I think they're both beautiful, but I do think that Moonlight affected Call Me By Your Name's chance to win this year.
If you are the kind of person
Yeah.
who is like, not 2 in a row.
Can't give it to the gays twice. Like, that's literally
And some people, there very famously were articles out saying that, like, there were some movies that Oscar folks were like, I'm just not going to even see that movie. I'm not going to seek it out because it's not an Oscar movie. So there are people who kind of allow those biases to color the way that they vote. And especially when you have that kind of ranked voting that the Oscars, you know, who knows? Like Shape of Water could have been everyone's number 2 or number 3, and there's just no consensus on what their number 1 or number 2 was.
It's rewarding consensus.
Right.
It's a really weird system, don't you think?
I some of it I like and some of it I don't. It's always, but I do think that Shape of Water is a great movie.
I do too, and I'm not saying anything negative about it.
I do. You know, I'm never going to take away Guillermo deserves his Oscar, but was it my best movie of the year? No, it wasn't. But
But it's like the conversation that we're having right now feels to me like the conversation that the Academy would have been having, which is like, I loved Get Out best. You loved, I don't know, Lady Bird best. Whatever. You loved Call Me by Your Name. I don't know if these are the facts. You can tell me, what was your favorite?
Get Out was my favorite.
Okay. So, but at a certain point, we all also agree that we love Guillermo and we love Shape of Water.
There it is.
So there it is. You feel like Phantom Thread was snubbed a little bit.
Yeah, look, I know at this table, Phantom Thread is
I just made a face that was totally on. As soon as you said it, I was like,
debatable film. That being said, I kind of feel like Phantom Thread was written off pretty early in this entire Oscars race as like, you're going to get maybe 1 or 2 things, but this is not like, you know, like There Will Be Blood, where, that, you know, that was in contention with No Country for Old Men right down to the minute they opened the envelope. You know, Phantom Thread was kind of out of it. I think, personally, Daniel Day-Lewis should have been up there. I also think, you know, Timothée Chalamet should have been, too. I just...
so good.
Look, Gary Oldman's great. I love so many Gary Oldman movies, performances. This kind of felt like a one of those legacy ones.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This was his lifetime achievement.
Yeah.
Oscar.
I think that is so unfair. I think that he crushed it. This was maybe talk about my top 2. It's this and Lady Bird for me. Like, I loved this movie. It made me feel more than any other film this year. It just did. And I know that that's kind of bizarre, but his performance was incredible. And the fact that everybody's saying this was his legacy pick, it takes away so much from what he actually did. And I know there was makeup, and I know that he had some help with, but so does everybody.
Well, to be fair, Oldman, he always has some kind of something. And I feel like this is a case of him elevating the material, which is great. He did do a great performance, and he does elevate the material. But for me, it's just the movie was kind of like, meh. Except that Gary Oldman is great.
I mean, I don't think you can take anything away from him as an actor ever.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm with you. It's funny, I had this conversation last night because the win for makeup was another really obvious one and well deserved. That makeup is amazing.
Unreal.
In that movie. Also, only Oscar speech in which they thank their cats. So we have to acknowledge that a little bit. However, and I don't think the fat suit did the acting, and I think this idea that it's the same as Nutty Professor is insanity.
Wait, are people saying that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, that's stupid.
But there were a lot of really incredible performances, and I think that's what makes this year a little bit different.
Yeah, it's hard.
I think it's kind of too, you know, I've been saying this about the supporting actress because we all knew kind of leading up to this.
My wife won.
That Allison Janney, was going to win because you know, she had won every other time.
That bird gets a piece of that win, you guys.
No, to
that
say that
she
had a bad performance would be just incorrect. I personally think that Laurie Metcalf had some more subtleties, some more nuances to performance. That doesn't take away from what Allison Janney did.
Only one person can win.
But that's kind of how I feel about Gary Oldman as well. I feel like there were some other performances that had some more nuances, and it's not a knock on Gary Oldman. I'm one vote though.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we're all technically 0 votes because we're not parts of the Academy.
I don't get screeners.
But
I can vote for PGA, and I voted for not Gary Oldman.
Yeah, I mean, Laurie Metcalf to me was one of the performances of this decade.
It was great.
It was
so real.
It was so incredibly honest and yet precise at the same time. It was one of the most affecting performances I've ever seen. I love Allison Janney, so you can never be mad at that, you know, but that one did feel like, gosh, you guys, you maybe missed it on this one. If only they could both win.
I'm biased forever. I am in love with Allison Janney. Sure. I am unabashedly in love with Allison Janney, and I have been for decades. So I'm just like, this is one where I'm like, oh, my bias is getting in the way.
Wait, me too.
They were both great.
Unrelated to what we're talking about, just being in love with people. How hot is Jane Fonda?
Yeah. Oh my God.
She looked
Crapola.
amazing.
Not just Jane Fonda. Let's talk about the women of Hollywood and how I need to have all of that elixir, because there is some kind of like
What's in the water?
There's some.
It's
kind
not our
of
water.
Death becomes her situation happening, because not only is Eve Marie Saint, who's apparently 90 plus, more
6 months
cogent than
plus or
I've
whatever.
been in the last 6 months of my life to ever. She's beautiful. They are well spoken. They are articulate. Whatever these women are doing, I want some.
Yeah,
But
gimme.
it's not like, oh, I want to look like that when I'm 70 or when I'm 90.
Like
now.
Now.
Like
Right
now, I was
She
like,
was wearing the same dress that she wore to the Oscars.
That was Rita Moreno.
Yeah.
Oh, Rita Moreno.
She,
okay.
which was
was
amazing. She
awesome.
just
That, like-
changed. She changed the neckline, but she wore the same dress that she wore in 1962, and it was gorgeous.
But it's not just, by the way, let's just state the facts that if Helen Mirren came with that jet ski, every speech would have been under a second.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
That's just fact.
It's not just how they look, which is a fantastic. It's their mental faculties
I know.
are so together.
I know.
All right, that's an aside. Let's talk about two more genre films that some people were upset didn't get any attention. Logan, of course, which did not win for screenplay, and War for the Planet of the Apes, which, why does everybody not like that franchise?
I don't think it's that.
It's a great
just,
franchise.
It's just there was a lot of great picks this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There really were. And I think it's a great franchise, too.
I do think that's another one that's got that kind of, well, it was a reboot, well, it was a blah, blah, blah. And I feel like it's very easy for people to dismiss things thinking that they have already seen another better version of it. And especially considering that this is like the second reboot of Planet of the Apes that we've tried. I think that's why people discount these, but these are really good movies, and you should definitely watch the apes be more human than humans.
I agree. I think it really hurts it, especially for people who like just don't really care. You know, like you can say like, oh, Blade Runner's like that Star Wars movie. If you can boil it down to, oh, it's that talking monkey movie, it's a lot harder of a sell.
Yes.
So I think that's where, you know, even I was not interested in that first Planet of the Apes, and I saw it late, and I was like, whoa, I missed this big time.
Did
you
you
know?
guys grow up watching like you watched Star Wars, Planet of the Apes?
No.
Oh, see, I grew up watching
Oh.
Planet of the Apes. So to me, like all the other movies, I was so excited, and everybody was confused by that. I thought that was one of the things that like parents showed their kids.
I had seen it. You idiots. I mean, I had seen it, but it didn't. Thank you.
The Oscar goes to.
Thank you. We actually have a story about a real idiot coming up shortly. You are definitely going to want to stay tuned for that, because this person is so wildly stupid that he may be the harbinger of the idiocracy. I'm not sure. But let's quickly talk about highlights from the event. So, what did you guys think of Jimmy?
I think it was great. It's a hard job, and I think that he did a really good one.
He's so good at it.
He's really good
He's
at
so
it.
good. All right, fine. He's a white dude. He knows that. We all know that. And I know people were upset that they're going with another white dude this year. He can't help that. And he did a great job. His jokes were funny. He was quick. There was some of them were like, well, that didn't quite land. But there was nothing that I felt like, wow, that's distasteful.
Right, or like bad. I mean, really, the trick to this is when we talk about, how there aren't too many women being nominated for director, or how there aren't very many people who are in contention for being able to host the Oscars. These are things that, like, you don't fix it by throwing someone in to do the Oscars that isn't going to do a good job. You fix it by, like, maybe we just need more people who are really talented to be coming up through these late night channels so that they do get the chops that they can do this, which I feel is starting to happen now.
Yeah.
That being said, I will watch Tiffany Haddish host the Oscars in a second.
Oh, we're going to talk about Tiffany Haddish and Maya Rudolph and how they should go host next year, clearly. And but what did you? I thought he did a great job. It felt very much like an extended version of his show in a way.
Right.
I agree.
Well, I think, lucky for Jimmy, I think Seth Meyers took a lot of the bullets earlier this year
Yeah.
for the Golden Globes. Look, the first guy out was going to have to basically be like, all right, so this is the first time we're all in the same room since shit happened. So I think Jimmy had a slightly easier job. I think as a whole, it kind of went exactly like I thought it would. And Danielle is a wrestling fan. Sometimes we look at different shows and we're like, this is predictable, but sometimes predictable is not necessarily a bad show.
Yeah, being tropey isn't necessarily terrible.
So I think he hit the right things. I think the jet ski thing was a really fun runner
Yes.
throughout
That
the
was
show.
so
I loved
fun.
that.
I hope that guy actually gets to keep the jet ski.
I think he does.
Wait, what about the trip though? When they sweetened the deal with the trip to Lake House?
Yeah. I hope it's all real.
I wanted to get all the things.
I loved the joke about, we're not going to play music. We're just going to bring the Get Out guy.
Yeah.
That was really
Yeah.
funny.
Although they did play music, but that's fine.
Oh, yeah. But for the most part, he was fine. I don't think anyone else could have done that much better, and it could have gone a lot worse.
Like,
Yeah.
I
what
will
about
say,
Oscar?
I wish Lakeith had come back.
I
To
agree.
actually do it at one
But you know
point.
what? How disrespectful would it have been if he had actually done
Actually
that in the
done
middle
it?
of someone's speech,
They
Right.
were the music cues were so on point that I cannot, and you guys will remind me, there was a speech where they were starting to wrap it up, and then the person said, "My father who passed away," and it was like, they just cut off the music immediately.
It is that job is so awkward. I was
Yeah.
watching on ABC Watch Now or whatever it is. There was these 3 hosts that were doing behind the scenes the whole time, and you could see the editing room and what they were cutting to the entire show, which was pretty cool. They kept going to it, and it's like watching them watch this, trying to figure out what's appropriate, what shot, where to go, all of it live. It's a tough job.
Yeah. That is
JT, I feel
intense.
for you.
Yeah, no, I was just about to say, like,
Don't
JT.
feel too bad for
Yeah.
JT. He is nowhere
Well, they
near
also-
the Oscar level of pressure.
Well, no, but they
JT's on
also
his
don't get to
phone
throw
right
in
now.
jokes, and
Yeah.
JTE gets to tell us to shut up all the time.
Wait, I was confused about something though. Maybe you guys can clarify this for me. I haven't got a chance to talk to anybody about this yet. What was the people with the set design were flipping out about the set design? People were like, "Whose idea? How are they borrowing from Game of Thrones?" Did you guys think that the set design was anything?
It's fine.
No.
It was fine, right?
I mean, it looked beautiful, but
why were
when does it
people-
ever not?
no, but I think people were mad at it, or I don't know. I didn't understand. There
I
was
didn't.
all this set design talk. And
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
I didn't actually see any of that.
Oh.
It's pretty. I don't care. I mean, and then the people in the pretty gowns start talking. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't want to downplay the importance of set design. It's gorgeous, and it helps them tell the gorgeous story of, hey, let's say how awesome we are. That's the story.
One question
it
I
says.
do have, and I think everyone on the internet's talking about it, so let's get your opinion. Did Jodie Foster shrink, or
Yes.
is Jennifer Lawrence
The-
an Amazon?
yeah,
Which one is it?
Jennifer
Okay.
Lawrence is an Amazon, is my
This
understanding.
is
This is insane.
this is like a scene from Fellowship of the Ring.
They are clear. I wrote that down and you
You
took
did
it.
not
Yes,
write
I
it.
did.
Let me see your
Yes,
notes.
I did.
Where does it say?
It says Jodie and Jen are creatures from the Lord of the Rings.
It
says it right
does.
there.
Guess who writes your scripts, Roth?
I wrote that. You did not write that. I 100% wrote that.
I wrote it.
Here's the behind the scenes of Screen Junkies, in which Billy and I love each other, and it's fine.
Do we?
Because that joke wasn't really that great for either.
No,
of us.
no, it's not like
you
my
guys are trying to
career
take
is
credit.
hinging on a joke.
It's like we're fighting over a piece of gristle. It's really just pathetic at this point.
It can do this sometimes. I have friends that I'm the exact same size as, or a little bit different, and just depending on the shoes, the dress, the moment, the posture,
Sure.
I
the
think she's-
age, the everything.
Well,
Sometimes,
what happened to Jodie Foster? Why was she on crutches?
She made the joke that Meryl kicked her, which I would love to believe is true,
Yeah.
but who knows? She obviously didn't want to talk about it. But Jodie's in flats. She's probably a little on the. I don't notice how short I am until I'm in a picture with other people, and then
Yeah.
it's shocking to me.
The same as how tall I am. I never realize how tall I am until one of you hugs me.
Oh, woe is you.
But shouldn't
right.
that be
5'9".
a PA or some art director that's like, wait a second, this is gonna look weird framing. What
What are you gonna do? Put them on an Apple box?
Change her shoes.
Which one shoes?
Jennifer
She's-
Lawrence. If she's wearing heels, then she's gonna look
What's
like
gonna
a
happen to her
dress.
dress?
What happens to her
I'm-
dress? Yeah, then she trips on her
She's
dress.
She's
Oh, take off
presenting
your
for
shoes.
5 minutes.
Oh.
You can change
Those-
your shoes.
those
No,
shoes
because it would be
are-
really weird with the dress. It does affect it because that's how
Yeah.
they do tailoring and stuff.
Yeah.
Pish posh. And then she would just trip
Fine,
again.
you can have the whole
and
internet then look at just how
it
oddly
just-
sized you are.
It made for a moment.
A
but
weird forced perspective moment, sure.
It was a weird. I actually think they did one of the better jobs of presenting, but I think the best job of the presenting was Tiffany Haddish and Maya Rudolph, who were hilarious.
Oh my God, did you see also, like, during the red carpet, Meryl Streep comes running up and Tiffany Haddish, like, jumps the rope in that huge dress so that she can, like, go say hi to Meryl
Do you want to know
Streep.
why? She wants her to play her mother in Girls Trip 2. And I want to know how that played out last night. Like, did she get a yes from Meryl?
I need
Meryl
this.
would say yes.
Meryl would say yes.
Meryl's like, I'm doing TV right now. Sorry.
For like a day to come in to Essence Fest for a day and just be Meryl. Oh my God. Oh God, I need it. I need this bad.
I
I
think you're
love
gonna
that
get
Tiffany Haddish, when she hosted Saturday Night Live, she said, I'm going to wear the shit out of this
Yep.
dress. And
And
she's
she
still
did.
wearing the dress.
I love it.
She's going to wear that dress to every awards that she has so far. I love it. I love that she's like, no, this isn't a bit. I just love this dress.
Yeah,
I'm
this
gonna
is a
wear
great
the hell
dress,
out
and
of
I
it.
spent a lot, and it was
Everything about
probably
her.
like my first. You know, it's like some people keep their first dollar or like their first pay stub for when they
Yeah.
started doing entertainment. That's her first dollar. That's her first. Like, I spent money on this dress. I love it.
We're going to have to wrap it up here in a minute, but I want to bring up one thing that I did notice about this particular Academy Awards. This is the only thing that really struck me as unusual this year. Like, everything was pretty predictable, but it has been a long-standing tradition that you do not promote other movies at the Academy Awards. And Disney owns ABC, and these movies managed to get promotion that night. There was an actual teaser trailer for Mary Poppins, which I honestly, I have to go back and research this. I don't think has been done before. I don't think that they've actually showed a trailer for another movie during the Academy Awards. There's been kind of a thing against doing that. It's true. They snuck in a promotion for A Wrinkle in Time by crashing that theater, which, despite understanding that was a total corporate synergy, I liked that. I thought it was a fun bit. 3, they had the Star Wars cast come out, and like that gave
With
a ton
BB-8.
of attention with BB-8, gave a ton of attention to that franchise. And there was a 4th one too that now
mean,
they
Black
mentioned
Panther.
Jimmy mentioned Black Panther, like, which felt the most organic, but he mentioned it like 7 times. So I did think that was pretty interesting. I'm not saying that anybody was given a mandate or anything like that, but man, Disney snuck in a ton of promotion for their properties on that show last night, which is pretty unusual. Song performances, yes, no, liked.
I feel Coco. I feel so bad for him. He's not a singer.
Yeah.
And they had him sing that, and he looked so nervous.
Nervous.
And then, like, you know, then the pop people come out, and they're like, we got it from here. But yeah, I felt really bad about that because a lot of people were down on it. It's like, well, he's not a singer. Like, he's.
But why not have a singer? Like, for the Call Me By Your Name, that was one of the most beautiful performances that night, and they got the best guy in the world to do it,
Yeah.
you know, because it was the Oscars.
And like Mary wasn't that. Although we have all known for a minute that Mary is like not the strongest live. That's the way that she's always been. So I felt kind of bad that for a lot of people this was their first time seeing her
seeing
perform
that.
live, and it's at the Oscars, and it's like she can't distract us by doing any of her crazy Mary dances like she usually does to kind of cover for. So that was a bummer. Yeah, the music stuff really took a header this year.
Greatest Showman, though.
You loved that.
Oh my God. This is me. That's how I feel every time. Like, I just want to, like, break through a board.
It's like that Frozen feeling.
Yes, yes.
Like for little kids, the
Kid-
feeling they get
Every
at
time.
Let It Go.
I mean, have you guys seen when Hugh Jackman was trying to get the money for it, and they're all singing in the room, and there's that guy Jeremy Jordan who's on Supergirl and stepping in for
He's got an amazing voice.
Zac Efron. Yeah, they're like singing, and she's like ripping it, and like he's not supposed to, and his nose is bleeding because he had just
I don't
had
know
surgery.
what you're saying
You guys
right
don't
now
know what
at
I have no
all.
idea what's
I have-
happening.
This just feels
I'll
like
go down the rabbit hole
feels
with you
like
guys
words.
later.
Feels like just a string
String
of
of
words,
words.
which I feel like that's what I mostly sound like. So
It's a
I get
YouTube
it. I
video.
get it.
And then there was Bloody Noses and the guy from Supergirl.
He has an
will
amazing voice.
I will explain it at a later point.
I'm looking forward to
It
it.
will take too long right now. You guys know what I'm talking about. You
Someone
know.
out there knows what Roxy's talking
know you
about,
know.
and we love you. We're going to leave you with this bit of amazingness at the Academy Awards. I think this is maybe the most interesting thing that happened that night. Frances McDormand, who, by the way, gave one of the best speeches
Having
of the
everybody
night.
stand up, though.
So I want to call out Guillermo for giving a great speech. There were a number of really awesome speeches that night, but she had her Oscar stolen. This is what happened. Frances McDormand, she has been reunited with her Oscar now, so don't worry about it. But it was stolen
Thank
off
gosh, I
of
was
her
so
table
nervous.
at the governor's ball. Los Angeles Police Department confirmed to ABC News that a gentleman by the name of Terry Bryant, who is 47 years old, was arrested late Sunday night for stealing the Oscar. He was charged with grand theft, and the bail is set at $20,000. So this was a really bad idea, but here's the worst idea. The suspect, Terry Bryant, had a ticket to the event, and he took the Oscar and then made a video that he put on Facebook with the caption, "My Oscar, baby." Let's take a look at this video, guys.
Look at baby. My team got this tonight. This is mine. We got this tonight, baby. Mwah. Mwah. Governor's ball, baby.
But see, if you're gonna steal one, steal like
Congratulations.
special effects, steal like costume designers, steal one that's not like the most
Can you
obvious
give him the information to
person's-
work out?
What are you doing? What are you
Don't take drugs and then go to an
Why
Oscar
is
He's
party.
getting like people
my-
to pose
this is
with his stolen
insanity.
item.
Why does he keep saying that it's his, though?
Exactly. Why does he?
He's
why?
passing it off like whatever film he was involved
I think we
with.
can wrap it up. We get it,
is,
JC. Thank you.
That he won. So he's like, my team and I won.
What
this.
was he
It's like,
involved in? What movie?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. He's just crazy.
Nothing. I mean, is he
Why is he
under the
invited?
impression that someone's going to believe that he won that?
Well, why was he invited? Who is he that
He
he's
had
invited?
a ticket. I have no
Uh,
idea.
You don't just like have a ticket as a
You know what?
random-
I'm going to go ahead and guess that maybe he snuck in. Like, it's people do it.
Yeah.
But what are you doing when you think that somebody who is going to believe that you won that Oscar when
They
we
all
know
did.
you didn't?
Look, everybody in the thing's like, congratulations.
Just why would you steal like the most noteworthy one? Like that's what I was saying. Like steal one that everyone's like, is that really a category? I guess so. Yeah, you probably did. I don't know. Like steal one that's not like so obvious. Why would you steal Best Actress? You're not even a woman.
I don't think beggars can be choosers. It's not like everybody leaves their Oscars out on the table and it's like, which of these should I pick? Eeny, meeny. Like, I think he saw one, obviously took it and was like, mine. It's called being a
Clearly, he
kleptomaniac.
said mine.
Yeah.
I mean, but you also put the evidence of your crime on Facebook. Come on,
Would you
guys.
have been caught otherwise?
Yes,
know.
because one of Wolfgang Puck's photographers, because they have it like at the Wolfgang Puck does it, and it's catered, and it's all fancy, and they're taking pictures of the food and people enjoying his food. One of his photographers actually was snapping photos and caught the dude doing it.
But he probably wouldn't have been caught last night, and we wouldn't be talking about it this morning with video to show you if
How
he hadn't.
expensive is an Oscar?
It's probably not that expensive.
I don't know. I mean, if
they
it's
actual gold?
grand theft,
is-
it's
yeah.
over a grand.
Yeah.
Over like I think grand theft is over a grand.
I think it's more than that.
Or two, or is it five? Let us know in the comments below.
Roth's
Also about the
marginal
bloody
legal
Yes.
advice.
Yeah.
Are they like chocolate bunnies? You just like open them up and it's just like,
I'll put on different hats for like medical advice you shouldn't take and legal advice you should definitely not take. You know what advice you should take from me though? Things to watch. Here are some things to watch. One, Billy and I did an interview with the CEO of MoviePass last Thursday, and he had some pretty interesting things to say. I would suggest you go check that out. I thought he was great.
Yeah,
More
he's
forthcoming than I had imagined.
very forthcoming, and it's you'll be. I was shocked at how candid he was about like you just be like, "Yep, we're losing money. Yep, we did this. Yep, we think that." So it's not going to be all corporate BS. Watch it because you're like, really? You're saying that to us? Here?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I mean, I'm still left with a lot of questions
Yep.
about MoviePass. But maybe we'll do that for round 2 of our interview. Check it out in the first place. And then also the Grouchies. You want to
Yay!
know what the boys spent their night doing? Go check out the Grouchies. It's on Screen Junkies Main. We will have more things for you later today. Billy, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Roxy.
Thank you very much. All the women stand up! Get up! Oh, I didn't win anything? Never mind.
You win my heart forever. Danielle,
Always.
thank you for being with us.
thank you very much.
And thank you guys for being with us today. We will see you tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Oh, Robert Kirkman.
Ooh, Robert
tomorrow.
Kirkman. It's
What?
here.
The creator of
Robert
Walking
Kirkman, are you
Dead
kidding
is
me?
coming
That's
tomorrow.
why
here.
you moved me to Monday?
Well,